If a level 1 commander's backstory describes him as being the beloved prince of a small kingdom, how do we express that reputation, that localized influence, that title in Pathfinder 2nd Edition without breaking the game's math? Well, this time, maybe we actually do break the game's math. Hey everyone, Utkarsh from Spirit Bell Games here. Before diving into this week's subject matter, I wanted to let anyone who's interested know that the Pathfinder and OSR compatibility video that I talked about last time, it's the first draft of it is up on my Patreon for free. You just have to click the join button, join as a free member, and it's up there sort of as a staging area. This way I can seek comments and get feedback. I've had very good design discussions on previous videos in my YouTube comments, and I wished that I could address some of those points or talk about the points that were just brought up in the video itself. So I'm trying out this new thing, which gives me the opportunity to get an initial round of feedback and then incorporate that when the final video goes up in YouTube. So if you wanted to check that out and dig into some of the design discussions of OSR and Pathfinder 2nd Edition, then check out my Patreon, patreon.com/spiritbellgames. Now, onward to our actual topic of the week. Titles are my way of bringing Fate RPG's aspects into Pathfinder 2nd Edition. In Fate RPG, aspects are these short phrases that describe a character beyond just their skill point allocation. So it adds texture to the characters and it provides a focal point for the narrative when it comes to that character. So it could be, an aspect could be, for example, rejected necromancer from the Wizarding Academy, right? Or die-hard fan of Ronan the Berserker. Now, aspects not only provide this narrative focal point, but they also can provide the mechanical boost at certain points in the game. So it's this combination of a narrative texture for different characters and a mechanical boost. Titles, my creation for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, they're not aspects exactly. Let's talk about what they are. A title is a phrase, sort of like an aspect, combined with a numeric bonus. So, for example, you could have the Herald of the Green Phalanx +9, Leader of the Artificers Guild +16. When rolling a check where the full phrase is relevant, the GM can allow a player to roll with their title instead of whatever skill bonus that they were going to roll with. Titles have narrower applicability than aspects. A title can only be used if every part of the title phrase has some relevance to the task at hand. So, Herald of the Green Phalanx +9 cannot be used if you're doing Herald things, but the Green Phalanx is not involved in the situation at all. On the plus side, titles, unlike Fate's aspects, do not require the spending of a metacurrency. If you are in a situation where you're doing Herald type things or your Herald training is relevant, and you have information about the Green Phalanx, or you are doing business on behalf of the Green Phalanx, you can apply the title. You can roll with the title instead of rolling with your skill bonus. And here's the off-the-walls bonkers part. The bonus provided by a title is not related to a player's level. Instead, the bonus is grounded in the world's scale. So a level 1 artificer could have the title Leader of the Artificers Guild +16, and under the appropriate situations, they could roll with that bonus instead of their level 1 skill bonuses. Again, keep in mind that the applicability is narrow. The guild leader cannot just roll with a +16 anytime a crafting check comes up. But if they're at the Queen's Court making an argument in favor of the Artificers Guild's economic needs, then yes, go for it. Roll with that +16 at level 1. This leads to the section on why. Why use titles in your game? Why are they designed this way? Why are they unmoored from a character's level? Doesn't that break the game's math? So let's dig into that numerical bonus. Pathfinder 2nd Edition uses numerical scale to convey scope. Or, well, it should. What should happen this is what I firmly believe, is that at low levels, you should be seeing opportunities with very high DCs, probably for optional content. And then at mid to high levels, you should also see opportunities with very low DCs. Now, of course, a lot of times player characters are facing challenges appropriate to their levels, and that's why they tend to hit the standard DC of their level very frequently. But if you really want to convey the verisimilitude of the world, give the players these challenges that are both very difficult and very easy to convey the scope of the world. That is how I feel very strongly that Pathfinder 2nd Edition is designed. And when you take that numerical conveyance of the scope, then you can see why titles are grounded in the scope of the world instead of character levels. This is because if we just end up sticking to standard DCs of that level, then level 1 backstories can be quite limiting for a lot of different player character concepts. Yeah, I know we all joke that there's always that one PC whose backstory at level 1 involves killing a kraken, but I think we can stand to expand out the out-of-combat experiences that even level 1 PCs can have. An experienced diplomat may heed the call to adventure late in life. Well, how can we express their diplomatic experience numerically without accidentally also giving them massive bonuses to in-combat uses of diplomacy? We can do it with titles. Even beyond level 1, as the heroes accomplish big things in the world, titles can be used to encapsulate and express their accomplishments, such as Slayer of the Terror of Utari plus 22. Skills tend to flatten out these experiences, whereas titles add some texture back in. They're a little like lore skills in that regard. Lore skills are good at giving texture and specificity to a character's backstory, but unfortunately, lore skills fail in a few different ways that titles succeed in. Firstly, lore skills can only convey a difference in texture of knowledge, right? It's in the name. Secondly, lore skills feel most numerically relevant to characters who have invested in intelligence. And thirdly, which is like the most important thing to me, is that lore skills grow according to the character level and are also limited by the character level. This makes them firmly attached to the mechanical growth of the characters and seems unmoored from the world itself. Of course, the upside of lores is that by increasing automatically as the players level up, they continue to stay mathematically somewhat relevant, even for characters without intelligence, whereas titles can be outgrown by the characters once they go past the levels where its bonuses are applicable. I mean, an argument can be made that you could still use the bonus granted by the title for checks in which you are not, for example, trained, but if you have untrained improvisation, then you really can outgrow certain titles that you start out with, for example. Now, titles can be upgraded by in-game actions, but in many cases, a title is just not upgradable. For example, the leader of the Artificers Guild plus 16, you could only increase that if the guild itself was not the most prominent guild. Let's say you take some in-game actions and the guild's prominence increases within the city to the point where the plus 16 becomes a plus 20. And then now that it's the most prominent guild in the city, it cannot go up anywhere. I guess unless the guild decides to organize a coup and install itself as a shadow government, but you probably get a different title if you do that. If you are still skeptical about this disconnect between the character level and the bonus provided by title, then I want to tell you that Paizo has already done this, specifically for skilled artisan NPCs in the NPC core. The Envoy stat block in NPC core, it has a level of 0, but a plus 15 to diplomacy, because that is their specialty. Now, the reason the Envoy can have this massive bonus is because NPCs tend to be restricted both in terms of their geographical location and also their role in the narrative, which is usually a non-combat role. They also tend to not change their level. On the other hand, giving a level 1 PC, a plus 15 to diplomacy could start breaking the early game's maths, such as for activating a Marshal's aura. Titles, by being specific narrow, and with fixed numerical bonuses, allow PCs to engage in a similar form of math breaking that NPCs from NPC Core can, without breaking the encounter math inside of encounters. Also, and this is just a side bonus, if you are using Foundry VTT, then setting up a macro with a fixed bonus that doesn't change with levels is very easy. Everything I've described so far should be enough for you to try out titles in your own home game. That said, I've also created a short and sweet supplement that covers a few different topics, such as how to use titles, what types of titles exist, how to construct the title phrase, how to choose a numeric bonus, should there be a maximum limit on how many titles a PC can have. If you wanted to use titles more frequently, how can you broaden its applicability without breaking the game's math? And maybe the most relevant question, is your game even the type of game in which you should use a title? This supplement titled Titles, that's going to be confusing, is available on my Patreon as part of any paid membership tier. Along with paid membership also gets you stuff like expanded monster stat blocks, like lair hazards and harvestable monster parts, as well as some Witcher style one-shots. And then titles will be a blip for the month of September. And once October comes around, it will move outside of the regular membership and move into its own separate paid product page. So get it in September if you want the other membership perks. Otherwise, you can get it whenever you like. For now, this is me signing off. Actually, no, hold on. One more thing. Aspects from Fate aren't the only inspiration for titles. I'm just going to read aloud the One Unique Thing section from 13th Age RPG, which perfectly encapsulates a splendid usage of titles. All right, let's see. Your character's one unique thing, they're unique, is a special feature invented by you, the player, which sets your character apart from every other hero. It is a unique and special trait to your player and markedly unusual. The intent is that it provides a special flavor to the campaign and can assist the GM in determining how your character can interact with characters and story in the campaign. Your character's unique should not provide general practical value in combat. That is not the intent. The intent is to open up story arcs and fun role-playing opportunities. For now, this is me signing off, wishing you all engaging games.